Welcome back to Trinity Talks. Surrender. When we think of that word, we immediately think of giving up. Giving up in battle is to let go of your ideas, your thoughts and deeds, and become submissive or subject to another power. For a believer, it means to give up your own will and to be subjected to the will and teachings of God. Full surrender is to accept Jesus as your personal Savior. Give up control of your life to Him and to trust Him fully for the outcome. But that is not always easy for humans to do. To live a life totally surrendered and abandoned to God. We are afraid to let go of our lives because we don't know what God will ask of us. We are afraid that perhaps we will not be happy because we will not be able to pursue things that we want in life. What if we can't truly die to ourselves as Jesus did? Perhaps we could never say as He did in the Garden of Gethsemane, "Not my will, but thy will be done." Surrender. To surrender in battle means the conflict is over. To surrender in battle brings peace. When someone waves that little white flag, the opponent declares victory. I got thinking about surrender this past week. I thought of the many instances when I was afraid of doing certain things, perhaps afraid of the fear of failure or not measuring up. But I have learned over the course of the years as a believer that God is always there to impart to us exactly what we are needing in that circumstance. In whatever we are surrendering to Him, He's there. I have learned that if we give God the little that we have, then He is the one that multiplies it and brings blessings. I think of the little boy who gave Jesus the small lunch that he had. He could have eaten the lunch all by himself. His mom probably packed it for him because she knew that he would get hungry, and she didn't want him to be a burden to anyone. So she packed him a lunch, never thinking that over 2,000 years later, people would still be talking about that little lunch. 5 small loaves of barley and 2 small fish, perhaps sardines. In John 6, 8, and 9, one of the disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up, saying, "Here is a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish, but how far will they go among so many?" A good question. How far will this small lunch go with over 5,000 men present and women and children on top of that? Well, with Jesus in the mix, it will go very far. With God, it does not matter how little we have. What matters is whether or not we are willing to surrender the little we do have. God can multiply the effects of what we surrender to Him and do great things with it. God can do very much with very little if we entrust it to Him. Little becomes much when we place it in the Master's hand. I encourage you today to surrender your life to God. Surrender those things that you are holding on to, because God has great adventures in store for you if you will only just surrender. Be blessed. Have a great day.